Hey, what's up, my friends? John Hiley here with Tactical Dent TX, bringing y'all another full tutorial. And this is on a 2023, I believe, Cadillac Escalade. And it is a pretty, at first the dent kind of looks easy, but it's a little gnarly down there at the bottom. And the dent is actually much bigger than what it appeared initially. You can see in there, you can actually see the dent on the back side of the panel. That is going to be my access point. So I'm going to start off with a soft tip. And this is an Ultra 90 bend. You see a decent metal movement. You guys see that pop right at the beginning. And here I am just going to be pushing. And one of the keys with the soft tip is that it moves a lot of metal without putting any aggressive poke marks in it. Now, there is time when you have metal that has some areas that are a little bit stretched, and you are going to have to get a little bit more aggressive with them particular areas to bind up the metal, blend the orange peel, all of these kind of things to actually get that dent completely out. There is going to be a time that we're going to be using a sharper tip. But right now, I am going to get as much of this dent up as possible with the soft tip, right up here from the top of the panel, swooping my tool down into the back side of that fender, which is literally, as you guys seen, it's just wide open. You can get a lot of this fender, and you can hit a lot of it from, the inside of the actual fender. And so you can see here, just working around the last little bit that's in there. And again, this is really, guys, just getting it in the rough. So this is taking that damage and getting it up, getting it in the rough. And I'm going to use the soft tip for a little while here. The soft tip is really great. Right there where I'm pushing, we're near that body line. The beautiful part about that is, do a little knockdown work here, just tapping it down. But again, the beautiful part about that is the closer you get to that body line, the easier it is to leave a push mark. Using a soft tip, you can really crank on the actual body line, let alone above or below it, and you can get some metal movement without having any aggressive pick or push marks. So you can see here, just in here doing my knockdown work. And the knockdown that I'm using here is a Dent Vision knockdown. Great tool. It's called the Shock Blocker. The paddle that I was using there is a Dent Vision paddle as well. Probably the best paddle that I've ever used. I don't even use the wooden ones anymore. Okay, so now you can see that I'm getting in there and just dialing in right above that body line. Now, there's going to be lots of cross-checking that needs to be done on this particular job, and we're going to go into that. I'm going to be able to show you multiple angles that I work, but right now, I'm just going to continue pushing at this particular angle. Do a little knockdown work here. Also, the tips that I'm using right now, that is Peak Plastic, and these are the VIP. I believe this one's called the firing pin. I like to use the firing pin, the one you see here, but I also like to use one called the Pee-wee that's even a little bit tinier or a little bit sharper than the firing pin. So guys, this right here is my pushing angle, and I wanted to show this specifically. As you can see, my whole body is kind of leaning down against that soft tip as I'm making my pushes. And then back here, I'm doing my knockdown work standing up, and I'm just continuing to just look at the damage from this particular angle. Right here's another shot of it. Apologize about my pants falling off. You know, my mom told me my whole life that I didn't have a butt. So there you go. Can't keep my pants up. That's all right though. At least you're not seeing any butt cracks. So there you go. All right. So now I want to show you guys how I'm getting low here and holding underneath the fender, and I'm looking down. Now what makes this different is the angle that I'm actually looking at the dent. And so now I'm looking straight across it instead of at the angle that I had earlier. And this makes a huge amount of difference when it comes to cross-checking, guys. Huge amount of difference. This is, I notice I got my chair here. Got this badass Viper chair. Love it. And so, but I'm getting low on that dent. And now look at this. I'm looking at it from the other angle. So I'm coming in from this other angle. And what you're going to find is when you work these dents, that you'll find little crease lines that you can only see from the opposite angle. So you kind of, when we push dents out, we form these tiny little creases. This is why you get a cross-check, because you cannot see them from the original angle. And in fact, I usually work all the way around this damage. Like now I'm actually looking up. So I noticed that there was a flat line, a flat spot. And now I'm looking up, and see how my light is up above? This gives me a particular angle that you need to have on this type of repair. Like I said, guys, the repair the dent didn't look too bad, and it's not really a bad dent, but it's kind of tricky with all the cross-check angles that you've got to utilize just because it's right above that body line. And it really was just kind of a weird wave with two little shots towards the bottom. But you guys can see here how close I am now to cleaning this thing up. I mean, just every tiny little push and all of that cross-checking, working around the dent. You got to think of it like a clock. Like, you start at one time. Maybe I started at 3 o'clock and then I went down to... Or maybe I started at more like 1 o'clock, and then I went down to 3 o'clock, and then I ended up going all the way over to 9 o'clock, and then I went all the way down to 6 o'clock, and now I'm back to 9 o'clock right here if we were looking at a clock. So I went through this as many angles as I could possibly do and still be able to push and see the damage. Okay, you can see here now we're just doing a little bit of knockdown work. I apologize, I don't know what happened with the camera here, but it just, sometimes when I'm knocking down, it's causing it to blur a little bit, but you guys get the point. And I turned down the volume quite a bit with this knockdown work because it is so loud that, I want you guys to still have the experience of hearing the knockdown, but not to the point to where it will override my tutorial here. Okay, so now you can see I'm coming right back in from that original angle. This is the original, the OG angle. And this is me just picking every little spot clean that I can pick clean. Every little spot clean that I can pick clean. And now you guys see I'm using the Pee-wee, so I don't know if you notice it, but the tip of this one is a little bit smaller than the firing pin that I was using earlier. So I've been keeping my Pee-wee on the green zero gravity knockdown. Okay, now you see here, I'm actually going beneath the line a little bit here, above and beneath it, but yeah, there were some angles that was kind of hard for me to capture, but I tried to take you as far into this as I possibly could and still be able to work the damage. I'm not using the meta glasses on this one. And so now I'm doing a little bit of wet sanding here. I get pretty particular about this, and this one, there was something in one of my knockdowns was kind of scuffing it at the same time. Not anything serious, probably could have buffed it out, but this is a very light wet sand that I'm doing on this. And I'm using the Rupes buffer, and I'm using some Koshchimmy rubbing compound. And I don't really go into it with you guys here, but I did go back and I polished it, I believe, 3 times with three different polishes. Started out with a heavy cut and then went into a mid and then went into a final polish. Usually you got to do the 3-step when it comes to black vehicles. So the black vehicles always need a 3-step. If it was a white vehicle, you could easily do a 2-step, and it would be perfect. So yeah, as you can see, I like to really get that entire panel, everything that I worked, everything that I touched, get it all polished up and all done. So here we are, my friends. It is all finished, and I believe that it came out good. I wouldn't dare say absolutely flawless, but I can say that it came out really nice, very nice. The client was thrilled with it. And I did a couple other dents on the panel the day before. Couldn't really fit it in to this Fender the day that he came in, so he brought it back to me a few days later, and I ended up fixing this panel. So anyhow, y'all, I appreciate you, and as usual, I'll see you on the next one.